If it's Wednesday, it's another live edition here of Entertainment Exposed, right here on Left of Straight Podcast. Of course, as always, with our very special guest host, Mr. David Reddish. David, how are you?
I am doing beautifully, Scott. How are you? You are on the road today. This is exciting. You're
I
out
am
on
taking a road
location.
trip. I'm telling you, I'm coming from Ohio to your neck of the woods. We may be able to do this together live next week because I'm going to be in the Studio City area. So we'll
Oh,
have to
awesome.
see if we can coordinate that. But yeah, I'm going from Ohio to California. So I'm right a little bit out of Vegas now and looking forward to it. I'm excited that we have another special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest today?
Yes, joining us today is acclaimed singer-songwriter Justin Renaissance, live from
Woohoo!
San Diego, California, here to talk about his career and music. Because, first of all, Justin, welcome to the show. We're so happy you could be here today.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's really a treat to get to do this, and I'm super excited about the conversations we're about to have. Now that Scott's parked and not trying to do this while driving.
Now that we can hear him and there's not sagebrush going through the back window, we're
Right.
good.
Perilous, perilous. But yes, Justin is acclaimed singer songwriter, stage performer, a fixture of San Diego life. So we thought it was fitting because you have a new single out right now to finally have you on the show to talk a little bit about it. So why don't you kick it off, Justin? Give us a very, very brief bio and tell us how you got to where you are now.
Oh, interesting. I've been living in Los Angeles now for over 23 years and came from the East Coast, went to school, studied at University of the Arts, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. Shut down, I think, last year. But a really wonderful school where I got to cultivate myself as both a theatrical performer and also as a singer songwriter. And now I am here in San Diego, a very valiant member of my San Diego community. I do a lot of nonprofit work and I perform a lot here, so much that last year, beginning of this year, I was noted as one of Hillcrest's most fabulous performers and was given a certificate by Mayor Todd Gloria of
Oh,
all people.
wow.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
That is
Thank you.
awesome. Hillcrest, what's the bar in Hillcrest? They get a lot of people going through town. I saw Garrett Clayton there a couple of times, but it's that one kind of bar performance space right there in Hillcrest. You know what I'm
Uh,
talking about?
So there's a couple of them there, but the place that it was for live performance was called the Moreau. Now it's called EQ, which is mostly a DJ club. However,
Okay.
I have been talking with the owner of Riches, Ryan Petrosian, and he may be interested in bringing live music back to Hillcrest very soon.
that's pretty
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. It would be great if you could be like one of the inaugural performers. I love Riches. I've mentioned it in 3 of the novels that I've written. So you may mention that to the owner next time you talk to him. I don't know if he's read the books. I'm guessing probably not, but who knows?
Well, then we should get the
Um,
books to him.
I would be happy to send him copies. Be that as it may. So your latest single is called Into the Night. It's a beautiful, beautiful power ballad. Tell us a little bit about what inspired it and the vibe you want to create with the song.
Absolutely. The vibe of Into the Night is kind of a connection to the internal pain that I feel the world may be experiencing right now. And although there are really hard times, there are very important victories that come with it. And the song lends itself to that. It starts from a place of uncertainty and goes to a place of extreme clarity and hope.
Love that.
Okay, so yeah, like what inspired it? Like, were you just feeling lonely one night when you started to write it? What was going on?
I was feeling lonely, actually. I was with a partner who I had been with who had moved from Los Angeles to San Diego with,
Wow.
and they had lost their job, were in a very kind of uncertain, dark place, and decided to up and leave to Vancouver, and basically said, I don't know when I'm coming back. Um, and that was what I was left with. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, my brain is rolling and my thoughts are rolling and the emotions are high. And this is the song that spurred out of that darkest moment of my life that ended up, transforming into a really positive, beautiful experience where now me and my ex-partner have a very strong friendship and relationship.
I love hearing that. That's so cool. I mean, we always hear that some of our favorite songs come from the worst breakups, so it's kind of an inspiration, we know. Um, Tell me about how long have you been doing? Did the acting come first? Did the singing come first? Have you kind of been doing it all? I mean, being an independent artist is so hard to begin with. Being a performer these days is so hard to begin with. Talk about how those two worlds started and how they kind of collide now.
Sure. I was a actors equity performer from the age of 14 or 15.
Oh,
I
wow.
was doing plays all throughout the East Coast, which is what spurred me to go to theatrical school for college. My dad and my mom were very supportive of me within inside of that art community. So, and they saw that it was good for me. So they really leaned into that and supported me through my journey, especially through college. Now, in college, I studied mostly musical theater and actual, Broadway theater. Could have gone to Broadway, booked a role in Fire Island, a very high paying equity role. And I turned it down to come to Los Angeles in hopes of being a television and film actor. That didn't happen. But what did happen is I met my uh, mentor and somebody who I've written and produced many songs with, Frank Yano, in addition to also writing with my current producer, Steve Ornest from Total Access Recording. And Steve actually was the producer on Into the Night, the song that I had written with Taylor Carroll, who is somebody who I've been writing a lot of songs with in the last about 6 years, and now is touring with the band Lit as their drummer.
Oh,
So
wow.
a lot of small intertwinement with inside of the community out of Los Angeles, which has millions and millions of artists. So just to show you how small the community actually gets.
Right.
Lit. I loved that band back in the day. I actually saw them on tour with No Doubt and a little local band in Chicago called the Black Eyed Peas that nobody had heard of.
Oh, wow.
Um, they put on a hell of a show. So you're working with great people. That's great to hear.
Yeah, I think that the people you work with is really important. Obviously, there's ups and downs with inside of that. You have to try different things. As an independent artist, and Scott, you were asking about this. It's a learning process. A lot of the interviews that I've done so far have said, how do independent artists really get to a point where they are successful and where they're actually feeling like they're quote unquote making it? For me, it was always, I just couldn't see myself doing anything else. I couldn't not be on the stage. The second that my mom put me on stage to sing Puff the Magic Dragon at 6 years old at my first grade talent show, I was hooked. I was addicted. I wanted to be on stage for the rest of my life. And now I get to do that, but I also get to deliver a really super positive message and a lot of hope in a time when people need it.
Love
That's
that.
wonderful. Tell us a little bit about, when you write with somebody else, I'm really curious because I'm not a musician unless I've had like 3 glasses of wine. I'm not a musician.
That can
So
be
tell us a
fun.
little bit about like the composition process because this is something that really interests me. Like how do you even begin to write a song? Does it start with a lyric? Does it start with a chord? Like what's it like for you?
The songwriting process has changed over the years based off of my knowledge and what I've learned works for me. Because I think that that's important. You have to do what works for you as an artist, and there's no one cookie cutter way. But what I
Right.
like to do is I like to get inspiration. I could be walking down the street just on my way to the grocery store, and I'll get a tune in my head, and I'll be like, bum, 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 bum. And I'll be like, oh, that's kind of a fun melody. And then I'll record that onto my phone, and then I'll go back to it and I'll be like, what does this sound like to me? What does this feel like to me? And all of a sudden, my life is donuts. And there I go. I have this like incredibly sweet and juicy pop song. And sometimes it doesn't go that way. Sometimes it starts with the lyrics. It starts with the thoughts. It starts with the pain that I'm experiencing, like Into the Night, where, tell me how this isn't goodbye. And then the melody comes to me, and then it starts to take shape. But usually my brain likes to start with the chorus because that is the strongest point for me. As of late, I have started a little bit more with lyrics that lead me into the chorus. So I've been starting writing the verses first, just lyrically. And then once I have that chorus hook, I know how the rest of the song actually should pan out.
Nice. Let's talk about the performance aspect too. I mean, music industry's changed so much where you don't have those recording contracts as much anymore. You have streaming where you make a penny off every million streams. So gigging is kind of a big part of it. I can imagine that performing background will help you. Do you gig right now? Are you planning on doing that with your music? Or talk to me about live performance for your music versus live performance when you're doing your acting.
Absolutely. I just completed what I called my pop tour, which is the Power of Pride tour that I launched in March of this past year. I've performed several places here in San Diego. I performed in Los Angeles. I performed in Nashville. I performed in New York. I've done a lot of performances inside a small community of musicians that I actually know. But I already have plans, and I've partnered with Matt Harkenrider and Jules and the Howl, and we will be putting on one of the most incredible live performances down here in San Diego, late February, beginning of March.
Ooh.
Congrats.
What else can you tell us about it?
I will tell you that it's not going to be at a small venue. It's not going to be a dive bar.
Okay.
And we have the major company that we're going to be working with on board. I can't release too many details because the ink isn't dry, but I know that it's going to be a huge show. It's going to be a great time, a wonderful collaboration between two other very inspiring artists, Jules and the Howl out of Hollywood and Matt Harkenrider. They both actually have a show coming up in December at the Troubadour. So a little plug for them there.
Wow. I love that. It's so important to kind of inspire and work with other artists. Like David said, the songwriting process. I have a lot of friends that get together once a week and just write together and just kind of jam together, putting out lyrics. I've been lucky to interview a lot of great independent LGBT music artists. I'm good friends with David Hernandez from Idol and from a lot of other different friends from different places. And it's just great to see that, especially in the queer community, in the queer space, having those kind of relationships where you really, it is all about getting to get that sense of community, right? And who knows who and what areas to go to. And that's got to be great to kind of really work with fellow artists like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you were talking about, the other artists that you jam with, that was my favorite thing to do in Los Angeles. After I had kind of sunsetted the cover band that I was performing in for about 7 years, I decided that I wanted to join a larger community rather than just trying to play gigs for money. And if I was going to sing other people's songs, I wanted to do it in a way that was going to really elevate the community. And at that time, Eric Hiller, who's very, very renowned and very well established himself, had the Sunset Jam that was happening every Monday night at the Viper Room. And he would just throw a list together of a bunch of artists, drummers, guitar players, bass players, keyboard players, singers, backup singers. And he would throw everybody into a pool and say, hey, what songs do you want to do? Here's the list of songs for this week. We all just threw our name onto a song, showed up, never performed with each other before, and got up and crushed it. And I'm really excited. I have a bunch of these videos on YouTube and a private channel that I'm working to actually transition over to my YouTube, because I thought it was such a really wonderful expression of community. Uh, and it's something that most people don't have the wherewithal to put together. But there were hundreds of local LA musicians that signed up to do this, and it was fantastic. I got to work with Justin Gesso. I got to work with Diamond. I got to work with some of actually LA's best drummers and guitar players and bass players.
That's
Wow.
really, really amazing. Do you have, like, when it comes to cover songs, I know a lot of musicians have kind of a love-hate relationship with them because they like performing the covers, at least privately, but they don't want to sort of have their own music overshadowed. How do you feel about doing the covers? And do you have a favorite? Like, is there a song that you look forward to singing or that your fans are always requesting?
Sure. This was a tough call, because I know that when you're putting your music on stage for the first time and people are hearing it for the first time, it's hard if it's not 100% digestible and they've never heard the song before. So
Right.
when I was putting together my show for City Fest, actually even was before that, it was my release of A New Hero back in 2022 at EQ in Hillcrest. That's now called EQ. It was called the Moreau. I had a live band. I had dancers. I had backup singers. I had a DJ. I had a live host drag queen, Kevy Kev. And it was really important for me to send the audience home with a message of empowerment and hope for the future. And I wanted a song that would be able to really exemplify that. And when I looked back at my influences, the one person who always stood out to me, and people say, wow, you remind me of David, I'm sure you can probably finish the sentence there.
I mean, I'm not touching this because I do not want to go wrong on it. I don't want to say, you remind me of, I don't know, like, I don't know, who's a terrible singer that it's like, Lou Bega or something, like that you never want to hear ever again. Like, this is always my fear when people are like, tell me who I remind you of. It's like, this is a minefield, dude.
It's okay. I look at it this way. No matter who you tell me that I sound and look like, I'm gonna say, okay, sure. And if I don't know who that is, I'll look them up and I'll find out why, because there's something that you're attached to that you like about what they do, whether they're a great singer, a terrible singer, a great performer, a bad performer. But for me, the icon and the person who drove everything for me was Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do a Queen song. I didn't just want to get up on stage and Benson Boone it with Bohemian Rhapsody. Not only that, but I also don't have the production level of Benson Boone yet.
Right.
But my favorite cover song is Radio Gaga, because I think it shows the evolution of the industry and it shows people that change is okay.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
Sound is really a unique topic in the music industry, because there are certain artists that will continue with the same sound that they've always had. Usually this is because it's a band and it's a group of musicians who kind of write their first song, it becomes a hit, and then they are kind of like, they go down the rabbit hole of writing songs that sound like that. I think a really great artist who has shown the test of time that did that was Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi started as, Little Runaway, and, even up till, This House Is Not For Sale, that all sounds like the same artist throughout their entire career. For me, I am a Renaissance artist, no pun intended.
Hence the name.
I like to reinvent myself on the reg. And so my sound started very kind of like bubblegum pop is what I would like to say. It started actually, Beat of the Pain was the first song that Taylor Carroll and I wrote together in 2017 for my EP, Once Is Never Enough. And that song had a little bit more of that rock vibe to it. It was a little Backstreet Boys. And so that was kind of my first touch into pop, because I had been in rock for so long that after that, when we wrote Accessory, and then Someone for Everyone, and then Last Day, and then we ended up closing up that album with Friends with Benefits. Friends with Benefits was like, I didn't realize I could write pop music like this. And Friends with Benefits was so bubblegum pop that I was like, wow, this is a teenager basically like going through their adolescence and life and discovering who they are, which is super scary and exciting, but also needs to be poked a little bit of fun at. And sexuality becomes a thing, right? And you start to have all of these weird feelings as you're growing up. And that's kind of where I went with Friends with Benefits. So over the course of time, as I wrote the next round of music with Taylor, that was eventually going to become an album, and now is just a bunch of singles that I'm going to correlate as a compilation at some point, are all transforming. It started very much in the pop realm with Life is Donuts, with Pride Song, with I'm trying to even remember the songs that I released 2 years ago. But this year was very rock focused. You know, I released The Journey. I added that rap aspect to it with the extended version of The Journey. And then I just released Into the Night, was a power pop rock ballad. Yeah. Now next year, I am going very electronic dance music pop.
Really?
So I like to reinvent myself because it keeps it fun for me. And at the end of the day, if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, no one else is going to.
Yeah, that makes great sense. But wait a second, let's not get away from this electro pop dance music idea just yet. I'm sure you can't spoil any of the music that you're going to be putting out, but can you give us a vein, like a similar artist or two that people, you know, your fans, our listeners can expect that might make them want to check it out?
Sure. So some of the influences for the upcoming track that I'm currently working on with a electronic music producer in Germany is very much like bringing sexy back.
Okay, the Justin Timberlake song. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much leaning into that kind of darker, sexy, electronic, lots of synth, lots of really cool beats, cool, you know, production value, a lot of sparkle.
That's very cool. Well, I've asked you this privately before, but why don't you tell me a little bit about what song are you most proud of that you look forward to singing every night on the stage?
You know, it's funny. I hear a lot of artists that are like, oh my God, I wrote this hit song and now I just have to play it every single show. And it's become almost mundane for them. For me, Pride Song really just exploded when I released it. Over 200,000 streams on Spotify. And it was a song that really spoke to people. So I am the most proud of Pride Song because I feel like it's not just an LGBTQ song. I feel like anybody who listens to this song is left with this feeling of self-love, self-worth, and empowerment. And that is exactly what our Pride festivals are about. They're about love. And I think the real power in that song is being able to sing it on a nightly basis anywhere I go and have people just go, damn, that's a really good song and I really like it. Even if they're very, you know, right wing.
I don't think you could top that. That's pretty great. All right. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Scott's getting back on the road, and I have to get back to political news. So, definitely take care. And our listeners, tell us where they can find you and your work.
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram. I do handle my own Instagram, Justin Renaissance. You can also find me on Spotify, Justin Renaissance. I'm on all streaming platforms. And yeah, those are the two main avenues for me. So if you have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to talk to other artists that are just getting their start and other artists who would like to collaborate. So Thank
That's
you for having
fantastic.
me, David and Scott. I know Scott kind of hopped off already, but I really appreciate you guys and the work that you're doing with inside of our communities and reaching out to your listeners. So I applaud you guys for all that you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Well, thanks so much, man. You stick around and
All right, I made it. Wow.
glory
Okay.
be.
You know what? It's been so hard enough to pack for this trip. When I left Ohio, it was between 30 and 50 degrees
Oh my gosh.
there every day. And now I'm here on West Coast, and it's between 75 and 95 each day. So my poor phone overheated in the car midway through recording. So sorry about that. Thanks for finishing up with Justin there. What a great interview.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and wrap things up here, shall we?
Okay. Awesome. Do we want to do a couple quick entertainment shout outs or?
Yeah, definitely. Let me know what's going on with you. I am actually, like I said, I'm driving to Vegas. I made it here to Vegas right after we talked. I am going to be here for 2 days. I'm going to Palm Springs Pride weekend this weekend. So there's a lot going on there. So I'll talk about that. But what's on your hot button? What's going on?
Well, first, I want to give a special post Halloween shout out to Warner Brothers because they actually invited me to be part of a special screening of a film called The Conjuring last week. This is the original movie from, I believe, 2013, but we got a special backstage tour of the studio lot. They took us into the prop warehouse, which was really, really cool. It's enormous and it goes on forever. And it's not usually part of the tour. So it was extra special that we got to go inside. But I mean, I saw props from Batman Returns and The Matrix and The West Wing and the Maltese Falcon all the way back in the day. So much cool stuff. And more, they have whole sections devoted to like thermostats, and it's just rows and rows and shelves of thermostats from all different eras and styles. Fire alarm bells, like exit signs, like it's so much stuff. It's so crazy. But then we had the costume designer of the Conjuring come and give a special speech. We had some drinks and some snacks there on the lot, and we watched the movie, and it was a great way to kick off Halloween weekend. So thank you again to Warner Brothers for the special invitation.
How
We
fun
also
is
should,
that? Thank you,
yeah,
Warner Brothers. I love that. I've been on the tour of Warner Brothers. I have friends that work at Warner Brothers. I've been to that tour. I've been to the Universal Studios
yeah.
regular public tour. Plus, I've snuck around backstage a few times because I was able to get on lot. And I've been to the Paramount tour. Disney
Okay.
is my white whale. I haven't been to Disney ever, so that's my white whale. So love it.
I've spent many days on the Disney lot. I think at this point I've been to every lot in town. If I haven't worked there, I've been visiting, which is cool. Yeah, Warner's is beautiful. Disney is beautiful, but I'm so pissed off at the company right now. Who cares? Really?
Right.
That's another story for another show. We also should give a shout out because People Magazine has named its sexiest man alive, and for the first time ever, it is an openly gay man, Mr. Jonathan Bailey.
I love it. Right in the middle of Wicked Week we have going on, and
Yeah.
I am here for it. Put me down as yes.
Yeah. Well, he's gorgeous and obviously extraordinarily talented, which helps the sexiness. In my opinion, I'm attracted to more than just looks. And he's had a couple of big hits this year, one with Jurassic World Rebirth, which made a lot of money at the box office. I think the movie's unwatchable personally, but that's just me. Even with him doing the hot nerd thing where it's like, okay, he's the sexiest man alive, but he's smart because he's in glasses. It's like that level of silliness. But a lot of people really enjoy it and really had a good time watching it. And of course, Wicked for Good coming up here in just a few weeks.
A few short weeks. I know there's a couple tapings this week in LA. I have not been invited, unfortunately, while I've been here. So, but that's okay. I like seeing it with an audience, so that will be fine.
Yeah.
And speaking of Bailey, I mean, he's such a nice guy. Did you see where after they did Wicked Week on Dancing with the Stars, he sent Robert Irwin a huge bouquet of flowers for doing
No, I didn't
Dancing
hear
Live?
about that.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, it's just so cool. Robert Irwin very, very coolly said, yeah, we need to normalize men giving men flowers again. So it was very nice. It was a touching little thing, I thought. It was cute.
That is really, really sweet. No doubt Jonathan has seen Mr. Irwin's underwear pictures, which are circulating widely on the internet. And maybe that
Yes.
had something to do with the floral arrangement. I don't know.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. I got a couple things Palm Springs wise. Like I said, I'm going there this
Yeah.
weekend. My good buddy Del Shores is doing
Yes.
a 25th anniversary screening of Sordid Lives there this week in order to raise funds for one of the organizations there in Palm Springs. And I believe that's going to already have happened when this airs, though. Now I think about that, but I just love if you're a friend of the Sordid Lives franchise, Dell and the troupe, Emerson Collins, and
Yeah.
all the Ann Walker, and all of them do such a great job with that. And also, our good friend Frank DeCaro on Sunday after the parade is doing a signing of his book Disco out in Palm
Ooh.
Springs Sunday. So I'm going to go see him for that. So a lot of stuff going on for Pride weekend there in Palm Springs. I've never been before, so we'll see how much my happy butt can get around. But it'll be a lot going on.
Wear comfortable shoes is my first recommendation for any Pride, but I've done Palm Springs Pride a couple times and it is very, very wild. It's like everybody knows we all have to go into indoors for the winter after this. So it's sort of the last big hurrah of the year. But in general, when I've done it before, I've had just a fantastic, fantastic time. Met some really, really terrific people. So I'm sure you're going to have a great time. I'm sure you're going to flirt with some nice guy. And
I'm looking forward to it. Big
yeah.
shout out to my friend Jack, who is an amazing author, has a beautiful house up in the Palm Spring Hills. I'm going to be staying at his guest house. So if you like a good read, J.D. Horn is his author name. He's written quite a few LGBT books that are amazing novels. So shout out to J.D. Horn. But yeah, it should be a great time. Looking forward to it.
That'll be awesome, man. I want all the dirty stories. We'll talk about it on the show next week.
The very first time I met, I've had JD on the show a couple times. We hit it off. Great guy. Very first time I met him in Palm Springs on one of my road trips 7 years ago or something now. He said, well, let's go up to the house and go skinny dipping. It's like, okay. But no, he's a great guy, married to a wonderful man, and they do great fundraisers up there. So yeah, love it, love it.
That's
So what else
awesome.
you got on your hot button? Anything new you need to talk about?
I mean, the only other, this is bitchy. I don't know. Should we talk about Ryan Murphy, our dear, dear friend, who maybe is spreading himself a little thin these days? We talked about the Ed Gein show a few weeks ago and how the show's not very good, but it's very well produced. Well, Ryan Murphy has a new show out called All's Fair, starring Niecy Natch Betts and Sarah Paulson and Kim Kardashian, of all people, and Glenn Close. I don't know who thought it was, well, Ryan Murphy. I mean, credit him for creativity because I would never have put all of them in the same show. But it's being declared the worst show ever. Like the most outrageous, scathing reviews about Kim Kardashian's acting ability or lack thereof, the terrible dialogue, the ridiculous plots, just squeezing the talents of these actresses so badly. Just scathing, scathing, scathing. So I don't know. I'm guessing they won't get season 2. Would be my first
Well, with
assumption.
his factory of putting so many things out, it's not going to hurt him for one more bomb. I mean, we talk about horror stories coming out, new season pretty soon. So he's
Yeah.
pretty busy. And I think calling Kardashian an actress is a stretch already. So yeah, very understandable. So,
So yeah,
interesting. One of the worst on television. Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I have not watched the show, so I don't know if it's hate watchable. Like you can watch it and laugh at it, just how misbegotten it is. There are very few shows, very, very few are actually that campy and that disastrous. I'm
Right.
thinking of one from the 70s called Pink Lady, where two Asian pop stars who spoke no English at all were hosting an American variety show. It went about as well as you could imagine.
That never even hit my radar. And I know everything on television. Wow. That
I
had to
think it
be
lasted
very,
6 episodes. You should look it up on YouTube. I think you can find the production numbers,
I
which are
will look
just
that up.
so insanely weird. I don't know if All's Fair is quite that campy or quite that ridiculous, but hey, if you're watching the show, beautiful listeners, let us know what you think and if indeed it's something that can be watched and giggled about.
There you go. Well, I am so happy you're able to stick around for a bit for me to jump back on. Thank you, listeners. We are always live every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time and 2:30 Eastern time. And of course, the replay comes out every Friday. So that if you're watching this now, we appreciate you immensely. We'll be here next Wednesday. Like I said, teased earlier, I think that I'm going to be in town, so we'll try to do a live somewhere. Maybe you have in a studio out there, and I'm never opposed to singing across the booth at Bob's Big Boy in Burbank. So what the hell? We'll find something to do. I hope I'll have a little scoop. I am, like I said, I just got to Vegas. Whenever I'm in Vegas, I stop by my good buddy Randy Slavachik and have a nice coffee with him. So I'm doing that tomorrow. Randy has been doing the Randy Report, an amazing political entertainment little newsletter for the last 10 or 12 years. His husband was Olivia Newton-John's publicist and is a publicist for a lot of shows here in Vegas. So hopefully I'll get some great inside dirt with him tomorrow. We can talk about next week. But David, as always, I appreciate you, my friend. Remind everyone again, your socials.
You can find me on Instagram at the Gay Magneto.
There you go. And Left of Straight Podcast is at Left of Straight, LEFTOFSTR and the number 8. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify at Left of Straight Podcast. You guys have a great weekend. I'll be at Palm Springs Pride. We'll see you next time. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Scott.